love my calendar girl. Yeah, sweet calendar girl. Now, by the way, I'll get to July after that. I forget the lyrics. I love my calendar girl. Each and every day of the year. January, you start the year off fine. February, you're my little Valentine. March, I'm gonna march you down the aisle. April, you're the Easter bunny when you smile. Yeah, my heart's in a whirl. I love my calendar girl every day of the year.
Geez, that brings back memories.
Now we've still got to go. Maybe if I take you to the prom. June.
Something.
That's it. I'm out. I get to June and July. I can't remember, and I don't know what August is.
Fuck, that brings back.
I don't know what.
That's a topic for the show that I wasn't prepared for. Shit, your parents made you listen to.
Well, that's another topic coming down the future. That's why I want to put it in that spreadsheet.
You need to learn how to use spreadsheets.
What? This magical spreadsheet went into the cloud, and I don't know where it went. I don't know where this shit went. I rocked up today with today's topic of the show.
Literally on post-it notes. Ooh, that wasn't good.
We lost power for a second there.
Yeah, welcome.
Are we still recording?
I better check, huh?
Because I'd be really disappointed if we were...
You know what that probably was?
What?
A classic example of fucking LED lights not living as long as they're supposed to.
You know what? It goes back to my point. Fuck the environment. And I don't care about the dolphins. I already killed one before, but that's another story. But I wrote everything today that I need to talk about. There she goes again. Talk about everything on a post-it note. And I can't remember where this cloud spreadsheet shit went that you told me to do. And before we started recording, we were talking about, this is what we should talk about in the future, right? And I said, look, can we put it on this spreadsheet? Because I don't know where this spreadsheet went because it went in the cloud. Back in my day, you had it saved on the computer and you had it with you. Now it's fucking disappeared somewhere in a cloud. This is Invert the Y, episode number 10, the only podcast on the internet sponsored by their mother and the only podcast on the internet powered by the love of fairy bread. And I'll tell you, we're off to a rocky start because we didn't have any fairy bread.
We didn't have fairy bread today.
For lunch. But I've got the biggest cup of coffee I've ever seen. This is going to test the bladder. So let's count it down, how long I can last before
you have to take a piss.
And that's the end of the podcast.
So the whole idea was because last week's podcast was way too long.
And it was shit.
It was shit. It wasn't very good.
No, and I listened back to it and I said to Jason Relaxation before, that wasn't very good. And so, by the way, this is episode 10. I am joined, as always, by Jason Relaxation. We don't have any guests today. No Pottery Pete, because he's too busy.
He's renovating.
He's renovating, and he's being Stevie Nicks again, like in the 70s, wanting Skittles, wanting Coke. Fuck him. I'm over it. We don't have Super Simon, because we can't afford the budget.
Yep.
We don't have anybody.
Nope, we're by ourselves.
We're literally all by myself. Eric Carmen. I reckon that's Eric.
Again. Going back to
that's
shit that we had to listen to as a child.
Oh, mate, that's a topic. That's another topic. Do you want to get into it?
We might as well.
All right, well, let's start it off. Right.
We started with Neil Sedaka.
Neil Sedaka. Mum used to fucking torment me as a kid back in the old house with Neil Sedaka, and she used to play Calendar Girl, but the other one was, hey, little devil, whoa, 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 yeah. Hey, little devil. Fucking hated that shit, but the worst was ABBA.
ABBA.
Oh. You know what she used to play on the record player all the time? Ring, ring, why don't you give me a call? And it's something like, I'm on the phone impatiently. Something immediately.
See, by the time I came around, by the time I came around, it was Whispering Jack. Johnny Farnham and...
Oh, that was the other one. She used to like that.
Come a Chameleon was another one.
No, that was you. You love fucking Culture Club. Come out. You're coming out now with that shit. You used to love that so much. You used to love the... Come a chameleon.
That sounds like kids' music. That's why. I was 3 at the time.
You come and go. You come and go.
You can't tell me there's any difference between that and the Wiggles.
Yeah, Culture Club... Well, you know what? I'll defend Boy George because he actually has got quite a good voice.
He's a talented dude.
He's a talented dude, and I think that was the way he looked and the whole get-up was perfect for that era. because he was being
very, very glam.
Well, yeah, but he was being confrontational. He was being very shocking, and he was really putting it out there that he, that's it.
Yeah,
and
this is who I am. Fuck
but
you.
people were talking about him, and I'm telling you
it
now,
worked for him.
I'm telling you now, I don't think they would have been anywhere near as successful if it wasn't for Boy George's look. I'm being upfront. He had he still does. He's got a great voice, but his particular look made people talk because I don't think maybe David Bowie before him with the whole Ziggy Stardust in the 70s. Maybe that was the prelude to what Boy George would end up being in the 80s, like mid-80s. I think 85, Culture Club really broke it big with the Come a Chameleon stuff. I think that was 85. And they had albums before that. The other big song was, Do You Really Wanna Hurt Me? Do you really wanna... If it was a fish... Now, if it was a fish, do you really wanna make me fry? So I got tortured by Neil Sedaka and ABBA.
Yep.
And the other one was Neil Diamond, Hot August Night.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord!
Good Lord!
But I don't know if that was more dad. I suspect that was more dad.
It's more dad's style, I guess.
Yeah, but Mum was... Oh, mate, Neil Sedaka used to drive me fucking insane. That whole... Hey, a little devil. And the other one was, this is a big one, was Gene Pitney. She used to love Gene Pitney, and the only one I can remember that Gene Pitney did was Mecca. And he used to go, Mecca! Mecca! Oh, it's fucking god-awful. And I'm deliberately trying to butcher it. I can't sing for shit, but I'll fucking... Gene Pitney.
Can't sing for shit either.
No, you know the one I did like, that Mum used to play a lot, was Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. And that was the one, Young girl, get out of my mind. My love for you is way out of line. You better run, girl. You're much too young, girl.
It's like listening to WSFM.
Oh, it is, man.
Here's a story. Here's a mini ram from me. And I know I'm not supposed to.
We haven't even introduced the show. Do the ram.
No, it's not a full ram. It's a mini ram.
Because ram's my segment.
Yeah, you might be able to expand on this. And there's probably other listeners.
Do we have to roll the audio monkeys?
I'll roll a monkey.
Roll it, monkeys!
So, how do you not blow out your vocals with this shit?
Because I can just do it.
It's the coffee.
It's the coffee. I got the biggest coffee.
You got the coffee lubrication.
That I tell you, what is it now? I reckon an hour from now I'll be saying, let's wrap
Well, that was
this
the
shit
whole
up.
point. It's going to make you go take a piss.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, do you remember as a child having to answer the phone with, what is it? WSM is my station?
Yep.
TWS is my station?
Because Mum was all about, you win $200.
You win $200.
Yeah, so you used to, when the phone used to ring, and it used to be those old-fashioned phones that were on the wall, and he used to have the dangly cord. Mum would go, make sure you answer it, TWS is my station.
TWS is my station.
But if Dad was around and you forgot it, they'd be like, how many fucking times have I told you, answer it with TWS is my station? Fuck's sake, I want to win $200. Do you remember that?
I remember it vividly.
He used to...
he used to go off his shit.
He used to lose his mind. He goes, I don't ask for fucking much, but all you can, kids, if you can't remember that shit, fuck me. That's what he used to do.
Mate, I remember those phones. God. I know, I was telling...
Well, do you remember 80s movies? Sorry to cut you off. 80s movies... They used to, and particularly the ones based in America, they used to have the really long cords.
Yeah.
And so the kids would walk like around different bedrooms of the house and shut the door.
We never had that.
No.
Sure, okay. And there was only one phone in the house.
Only one
Two
phone.
later on, because we had one in the computer room and then one on the main wall.
Mum and Dad had one as well. Though.
Yeah, okay. So I remember, and I was telling my son this story when we had an electrical storm not too long ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was frantically going around the house unplugging computers and electrical devices because it was a pretty violent storm. And I was telling him the story of one day where the clouds went green and Dad yelled out to you, "Get the fucking phone off the wall, it's going to blow up." And literally within your hair must have been about a centimetre away from the phone, and it literally blew the fuck off the wall.
Do you see how many lives I've gone through now? If I was a cat, I'd be fucked. Because I've gone through at least 9 lives. No issues.
No issues. You're fucked.
I'm fucked. I am pushing shit up a hill.
Yeah.
But I remember that. But that was when later in the years because the original phones they weren't detachable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you used to have to. The one that I remember, you had to pick it up and then you unplug the cable. And
hey, that reminds me of that song from the 90s. You remember that song that went detachable penis? Do you remember that? And the lyrics went...
Sadly, yes.
And the lyrics went, I woke up and I couldn't find my penis because it's detachable. And he's go, detachable penis. This is Invert the Y, episode 10. I can't believe it's 10. It's
a magical number.
I'll fucking be doubtful if we make 11. Thank you for joining us, or 2 of you that are listening. God bless you. One of them, Super Simon, for sure.
The other one's Mum.
No, she hasn't watched this shit. I told her not to. Because I'm embarrassed by it. We do have a topic of the show this week, unbelievably.
Yeah, last time we said that, though, we never got to it.
Yeah, we never stuck to it. We're fucking hopeless. But we do have one. We're going to try and keep this one very short and sweet, too. You know why? Because I got a massive pot of coffee here.
He's either going to have to take a dump or take a piss, one of the two.
Probably both. At the same time. There was a kid I used to know. This isn't a rant, but he used to say to us,
"Did we need to roll the monkey?"
No, not yet. The monkey's going to come, but not yet. But this kid used to come around at school and he'd be like, "Can you shit and not piss?" And for like a whole week, kids were saying, "Oh, no, I've tried, but it won't work." And he's like, "Yeah, it's impossible. You got to piss when you shit." That was like a big thing in the schoolyard. That's why my education level is so great.
Where's a medical professional when we need him so we can, I don't know, get advice if that's actually something that has to happen?
I don't know. Fucking I don't know.
Where's Dr. Carl when you need him?
He's somewhere, but that's a good number. You ring him up and go, "Hi, Dr. Carl, long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to know if it's possible if when you do a shit, you don't piss. Because every time I do a shit, I piss.
I've wondered about this since I was 5.
I've wondered about this since I'm 5, and I can't sleep at night not knowing it, and I don't know if I'm normal or not." And Dr. Carl's like, "Well, yes, medical science is proven that it's basically impossible that when you do a shit, you have to piss. And it's because of the prostate." And that fucking prostate, I tell you what, it's got a lot to answer for. It's time to start the show with what we always started off with, which is going back into the deep, dark recesses of my mind. The ever-decaying mind that I have that is every day losing more and more brain cells. With another random access memory, a Daniel's RAM. So let's get on with it. Roll it, monkeys! That did hurt my vocal cords then.
I'm not surprised.
Did the monkeys put it in at least?
I hope so.
That fucking really did hurt my voice.
I'm not surprised. You're not supposed to do that to your vocal cords.
I think I might have a problem. I won't be sounding like Karen Carpenter from The Carpenters. With her, you know how she used to sing? Really silky smooth.
I don't think that's what's going to happen.
No, I'm not going to be like that ever again.
Yeah.
This is a recent RAM. The reason why this RAM came in is because I want to go back a little step here and let everyone know that last week we said 188 F-bombs, and we did say that every F-bomb that we would say would end up us donating $1 to the Melanoma Institute for their Melanoma March here in Sydney on March the 17th. So because we have disgusting potty mouths, raised $188 for charity. All right. So thank you for everybody that didn't listen, and everybody that did listen and donated. Thank you very much. But we did put in $188 out of, well, actually my fucking pocket.
That was out of your pocket.
Yeah, that was
Someone else had to pay for this shit.
Yeah, that's right. So I fucking donated, folks. That's why me and the cat have ate baked beans all week.
Oh, that's probably explains the smell.
Oh, he stinks, mate. That's another fucking story. But this one prompted this ram story, and it's a bit of a travel ram. So we go back to 2001. So it's recent, in my opinion.
That
even
2001.
Even though it's 18 years ago.
18 years ago, yeah.
But for me, it was like yesterday.
Even for me, that's almost yesterday.
Now, here's the story. This will be a short ram.
Is this when you were in Japan?
No. This wasn't when I was in Japan. Although
2001. So after the Olympics.
Yeah.
2000 Olympics. Okay, I'm trying to remember back 18 years.
When I went backpacking with Pedro.
Ah, okay.
So the story is, I went backpacking with Pedro for about 4 months, and I went all over Europe, and I went a little bit into England as well. I think I started off in London, went all across Europe, and ended up in America. That was the end of That's when we found Robotech 2, the Sentinels. That was the end of the trip in LA. That was like the triumphant moment. There she goes again. She won't stop, that maid lady. She's now jiggling.
Jiggling.
Oh, I showed the Shower King.
The Shower King.
Yeah, I got to hold the ram for a second. This week.
We need a pause sound.
Yeah. Roll it, monkeys! Well, the monkeys put a pause in.
I can figure something
Yeah,
out.
go. Okay, so we've hit a pause button. So I've had the renovations to the Aquamarine Park, and the guy that comes out to do my showers, shout out to him, the Shower King.
Shower King.
He doesn't know about my podcasting, and I'm not going to fucking tell him.
You should.
Nah, he thinks I'm a weirdo anyway, but that's another story. But the Shower King, what was I going to go with this story?
I don't know. Something about Shower King.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're going to have to cut this out now. What was I thinking?
Pause.
No, I was telling the Shower King. This is fucking coffee.
Welcome to our world.
Oh, my world. This is how I live. I walk down the street, and I've been given a job. Go get some milk and bread. I get halfway down the street. I'm like, what am I doing? And lately it's got, where am I? Oh, fuck. How did I get here? You know what I mean? It used to be I'd drive home from work like half an hour, and I'd be like, how did I get here?
I do that as well.
Yeah,
like
but-
I will drive from our house here to work, which is a significant drive.
Yep.
And I'll be like, oh fuck, how fast was I going through that speed camera? I actually do not have any recollection of the trip.
That's why you've got to install Spokey Dokies in your car, because you used to know how fast you were going by the sound of the Spokey Dokies.
They'd be going.
I know, I never look at the speedo. Fuck that. I listen to
Spokey-
this. Oh, fucking oath, I put Spokey Dokies in my car. The next thing will be putting an orange flag at the back. Remember you used to have an orange flag on the back of your bike and it would flap? And the other thing was, if you were really, really pushing your luck, you'd have those trestles coming out of your handlebars. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So as you rode your bike, the trestles would you used to look like a fucking cheerleader because you'd be
They're like pom-poms.
They're like pom-poms coming out of your handlebars, and you'd have a flag, right? And then later on, remember this. You got
We needed another pause.
Oh.
This is Inception.
No,
this is a story within a story within a story.
But I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. Do you remember when we were really cool? We put Speedos on our bikes.
We had Speedo. They were electronic too.
No,
they were LCD.
but before that we had analog ones.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember.
But they weren't very reliable. But we put the
Because that's what you needed, an ultra reliable Speedo on your
yeah.
bicycle.
But remember, where we used to live was a big hill, and
we used to race down it. Yeah,
yeah, and the Speedo said 60 kilometers
k's an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it.
So we were going past cars because we were going down that hill so fast. And it was like you were doing 60 kilometers on a bike.
Basically, you get down because there used to be another hill on the way. It used to go down, and then there was another hill.
Yeah.
And the goal was to go fast enough that you wouldn't have to pedal your fat ass.
That's right. That
up
was the
that
goal.
second hill.
That was the goal. Because remember, there was a kid that. Well, actually, I got a story about this kid because he made me break into the lion safari and kill me. He killed me I killed a dolphin with his kid one day. That's another fucking story. But he said he stood on top of the street and he goes, you know what? I think we can go down so fast down this hill that we can get to your place, which was our place, without needing to pedal.
Yeah.
And this is like one...
Because his house was just before the hill.
That's right.
I know who this is.
You know who it is, right?
Yeah.
But don't say anything.
No.
But he was like, I think we could make it all the way to your house without having to pedal.
Yep.
And the key is you don't brake.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And mind you, this is about... Actually, we measured it. It's 1.5 kilometres from this hill to our place.
Yep.
And you'd go down this hill And I'm telling you now, the bike was not designed for it because the flag on the back was flapping, the trestles and the handlebar
Not aerodynamic.
Oh, fuck. And you go down the hill and you'd shit yourself, right? And then you'd somehow come at the other end and you'd slowly go up the next hill. But if you'd played your cards right, you wouldn't need to pedal. You'd actually just get to that top of the next
and then
hill.
you just keep going.
And you just slowly glide. And then there was another hill. Remember that? You just go down and then
then you're at home.
You'd hit the driveway.
Yeah.
That's what he used to do. But, mate, I'm telling you now, you were playing with fire with that bullshit.
Fucking 60 k's an hour on a push bike.
Yeah. So going back to the Shower King. The Shower King was swearing a lot. And I said, well, I know a bloke back in, when I was travelling that used to do this, but he used to do it in an incorrect way. And the Shower King said, well, what are you talking about? So I told this ram to the Shower King.
Okay, so now it's all starting to make sense.
Now it all sort of melts together, right? That's what prompted this ram. It's a bit of an impromptu ram, and it's a modern day ram. And I know it happened. I know it happened 18 years ago, but I don't give a fuck because in my mind it happened 5 minutes ago. I can't remember between that time. Have you ever seen interviews with Ozzy Osbourne? And he's like, I'm fucking Ozzy Osbourne. And he's like, I don't remember the 80s. I saw an interview with him and he's like, but you remember when you released that album? I don't
remember.
And they showed him a video footage of him on stage when he was doing his solo gigs in the 80s. And he goes, I fucking don't remember any of that. Who the fuck?
Well, you got to think. I reckon most of those
artists. And the
best
bit was he goes, I look like a twat. This was some video hits fucking thing I was watching a while ago, and he's like, who is that? And they go,
mate, he did take a lot of drugs.
He goes, who the fuck is that? He goes,
it's you, you fucking
They go, it's you. He goes, I look like a fucking prat. He goes, he goes like that. He goes, when was that? And they go, 1982 or something. He goes, I fucking don't remember the 80s. So I'm a bit like that. I don't remember fucking anything.
You don't remember anything from 2019 back to 2000?
No. I do remember the 70s and the 80s really well and the 90s, but that was like 5 minutes ago to me. But just before we got on air, your wife says to me, what'd you do yesterday? I go, I fucking don't know. I don't know. I got no idea what I'm doing. I live off this bullshit. We'll talk about these bullshit mobile phones in a minute. That's coming up. That is the topic of the show, folks. But I don't understand. If I didn't have the calendar in that phone, I'd be fucked. I'm telling you now. You'd be ringing me going, where are you? I'm like, well, today's Tuesday, isn't it? You go, no, you fuckwit. It's now Saturday. What, Saturday? What, the next Saturday? No, fucking 3 weeks ago. In the future Saturday. You know what I mean? It's like the DeLorean pulled up, and I don't know what I'm doing. I've turned into fucking Ozzy Osbourne, and then people ask me, "What'd you do?" I don't remember the fucking 80s. So I was telling this story to the Shower King, who's renovating the Acma Marine Park, right? And this is going back to 2001 when I backpacked around with Pedro, and we ended up in Prague. We ended up in the Czech Republic, right? And this is before you needed visas to get into it, right? So we ended up there, and I was also traveling with another bloke who I'd met at work. So there were actually three of us, right? Me and two mates. And we'll call this other guy Manchild, because that's what we used to call him.
That's what you still call him.
Well, because he knew everything, because he'd been to Europe before. So he was like, you ring him up and you go, oh, Manchild, I don't know what to do. And he'd have all the answers. You know, like if you stuck your hand in a vat of boiling water, oh, Manchild, I've done it again.
If I only had a girlfriend.
If I only had a girlfriend, like in the Simpsons episode, he'd be the dude to go, look, mate, this is what we do. So there was me, Pedro, and Manchild. And we ended up at Prague. Now, we got into a bit of a routine whenever we did the Euro stuff too, by the way. We didn't have cars back then. We were on the trains. We'd get trains to the major cities in different countries.
That's probably the best way to do it.
That's right. That's how everyone was doing it. And so the routine that we started to get was we'd get off at the train station, the major hub, and we'd sort of look for like accommodation, usually hostels. And most cities back then, and I'm sure it's still the case now, they'd have like spruikers. So there'd be people representing hostels nearby that would say, hey, come and stay with us. We're very close to the station, or we're very much in the heart of the city, or that shit. But for whatever reason, Pedro, myself, and Manchild got into a fucking rip-roaring argument in the station, right? And we were basically saying, well, we're not. There was one hostel called Strawberry. I'll say that much. They called themselves Strawberry, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go with them for a night because they're here now. They'll take us to where we want to go, and we'll work it out tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? But it's now 8 o'clock at night. Time's ticking. But we had an argument for like an hour and a half, right? And during this argument, basically, everyone had fucked off. All the spruikers had fucked off. There was no more people left in this station. This station had basically shut down. Nobody was left. And so we're like, well, fucking that's fantastic, right? Nobody's here that can help us now, and it's dark. And we'd heard stories from a lot of other backpackers and everybody that was going around saying, listen, don't travel by yourself at night with supposedly, quote unquote, and I'm doing the quotation marks for the two people that are listening, quote unquote, don't travel with a local because there's stories that they take you down dark alleys and they rob you.
Yeah.
Right? This was the story that was going around. And so we had this big argument, and I turned around and said, listen, fuckwits. We're by ourselves now in a strange city at 10 o'clock at night, thereabouts. It was pretty late, and it was certainly dark. And so I said, well, what are we going to do? We should have gone with these, even because the argument was, oh, they're too expensive. Because the man-child had it in his head, and I've got a fucking cracking story about what he did to us in Greece. Even though I love him very much, and he's an awesome bloke, but he was the bloke in Greece that said, no, why stay in accommodation that's got proper toilets? Where we can stay in accommodation in the hostel where you got to use a toilet and use the toilet paper and put it in a basket beside you.
Fuck
right?
Yeah, I've got experiences.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know
when you go to Greece,
it's not just Greece.
But in Greece, a lot of places in Greece, when you do a shit,
don't have flushing toilets. Yep.
And I fucking ruined a hostel. This is a sidetrack. So we ended up in Greece after this Prague incident I'm about to tell us about. We ended up in Greece. Yeah. Right? And we ended up at a place called the Pink Palace.
That sounds classy.
Apparently back then it was Europe's largest hostel.
Oh, okay.
It had 700 beds.
Yeah, if you had a place.
Oh, it was fucking huge.
That's huge.
And it was run by a bloke called Dr. George. Let me tell you about fucking Dr. George. Dr. George, every night when you first got there, he'd do the whole Greek thing, you know, where they dance and they
smash plates and shit.
Oh, fucking yeah. So he'd do the whole dancing. Is it the Zorba?
I can't remember.
They do the dance, and then they've got the table on his chin and all that. Then every new arrival into the fucking hostel, he goes up to them and he bashes a plate over their head. But it's okay because he makes you drink ouzo before you do it. So you're fucking off your nuts drinking ouzo. And I'm telling you, what he used to have a guy walk around. You know those big army pots?
Yeah.
Right? He'd get a ladle of ouzo and he'd make you drink the ouzo, and ouzo would be running down the front of you. Right? But you'd drink a fucking ladle full of ouzo. And you'd be off your head.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? And the next thing you knew, a plate would smash on your head. There was I got pictures of it somewhere at home. There were broken plates all over the fucking floor of this place where Dr. George went around and went bang on your head. Oh, fuck. Right? But we rocked up to this accommodation, this hostel, and they had three choices of accommodation. They had A, B, and C. A was like brand new air-conditioned
nice.
Like apartments with proper toilets.
Yep.
B was better than hostel, like separate rooms.
Yep.
But they didn't have proper toilets.
They had a shared toilet.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there was C, which was a hostel. We went B, right? And B was $10 cheaper than A. That's the fucking...
Why the fuck would you not pay them more? Pay the extra?
Because the man-child...
Man-child can go fucking stay there. You guys
no, because he was kind of on a roll, and he was a genius when it came to travel, and his idea was, well, that $10 could go towards drinks.
Okay.
And that made a lot of sense to us back in those days because all we did was drink, right? And so here's the best bit. We ended up at the B accommodation, and so what had happened was I had to snap one off.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
Had to drop the kids off at the
pool. I had
to
drop the kids off at the pool. Many kids because I'd been saving it up for quite a while because we had to get the ferry from Brindisi in Italy over to Greece. That's a long fucking trip. Let me tell you a fucking story about that. And so anyway, I dropped a few kids off the pool, but I forgot. I'm Australian. I forgot, and I used a lot of toilet paper.
Yep, you've gone.
Now I
this.
couldn't.
Yep.
And I put it down the toilet like a normal human being would. Now it didn't occur to me before I sat down there. I did see it that there was a plunger there, and I didn't know what the plunger was for.
So clearly, you're not the first person to have fucked up.
Well, I fucked up in a big way. So here's what happened. I put the toilet paper down the toilet and I hit flush, but guess what? The toilet paper and all the other shit, literally the shit, came up out of the toilet and kept going. Oh, Jason, relaxation. It kept going and going and going, and it flooded this fucking place. And so you know what I did? I said to Pedro, we got a problem.
We're going to get out of here.
Pedro looks at it and he goes, yeah. He goes,
why did he look at it?
You know what he said? Let's go for a walk.
Just leave it.
Yeah, we fucking did. And the next thing you know, this poor old Greek lady had to clean it. Do you remember those old ads? Those old...
between her and the chicken lady, no wonder you're fucking hex.
Oh, mate, I did worse shit in... I'll tell some more European stories, but you won't fucking believe the shit that I did in Europe.
We need to bring Lucky Phil back.
I'm telling you now, I'll outdo him. I fucking did some really bad shit in Europe. But here's the thing. Remember those old Pro Hart movies in the 80s where you go, Mr. Hart, what have you done? That's what this Greek lady did. She goes, what have you done? And so that was the second Greek hex that I ever got. And we left this place flooded, right? We were gone for like a day.
Yeah.
And then when we finally came back, the Greek lady cleaned it up.
Are you like a dog that knows he's in trouble?
Yeah,
back there?
Pretty much. So we had issues with accommodation the whole way.
Issues in inverted commas.
Yeah, but
issues.
But before this, we'd had a big fight about accommodation with the man-child and with Pedro and myself included, and we were in Prague, and we were in the middle of this train station, and everyone had fucked off and left us, right? Except for one bloke.
Yeah.
And I'm not making this up. This bloke rocks up, and he looked like he just stepped out of a 1970s disco.
Unreal.
He had slick back hair. He had the long 70s collar, right? He was wearing...
Please tell me it was silver.
Oh, it was the light colour,
Yeah.
And it was a little bit too tight for him, right? And he had the pants on, and he's gone to us, hey, boys, in really thick Czech accent. He goes, hey, boys, are you looking for accommodation fucking?
Accommodation fucking?
Okay, so you know where this is going.
I know where it's going.
And we're like, yeah. And he goes, you come with me, boys, fucking. He says, I have the best hostel in Prague, fucking. I'm not making this up. And we're
basically he's using fucking like a full stop.
Well, he thought it was a normal word.
Yeah.
Because what we didn't realise at the time was he was trying to impress us with his English. And he goes, my name, fucking, is Stenny.
He'd fit in perfectly in Western Sydney.
Oh, mate, I was at home.
I was at home.
So he goes, my name's Stenny, fucking.
Stenny, fucking.
Right. And we're like, and he looked dodgy as fuck. And we're looking and we'd stopped arguing at this point, and we're looking at each other and we're like, what the fuck? And he goes, you looking for hostel fucking? I know. I have the best hostel in Prague fucking. You don't believe me? You ask the Swiss. The Swiss know fucking. Now, we didn't know what the fuck the Swiss meant, but we would find out later on. I'll tell you the fucking story. So anyway, he says, you come with me fucking. I take you to the best hostel in other Prague fucking. This hostel, my home, in the middle of old Prague. Now, Prague is it's two districts, basically, kind of, sort of. There's the old city and the new city. And he was telling us that his hostel was in the old city, which is a better place for tourists. That's what he was basically saying. He says, you come with me fucking. I take you to a good place. You ask the Swiss. He kept saying, you ask the Swiss. I'm like, what the fuck?
Who the fuck are these Swiss?
Oh, fuck, I found out. Don't worry about that. So anyway, we said, okay, we're desperate now. It's getting late. There's no other people around. And we said, okay, now he was taking us down the back alleys, and dude, we didn't know where the hell we were going. Yeah, and we were starting to think Pedro being Pedro, and I'm not going to say.
He's like, this is bad.
But you know what Pedro was into at that point?
They're doing hair. On dolls.
Yeah, but that stage of his life, I trusted Pedro.
Yep.
Even though he's making dolls.
I don't know why.
After
that story, I wouldn't have been trusting
He was making
him.
hair, Barbie doll's hair up and shit, but that's another fucking story. But he's like, we're in a bit of trouble here. And Pedro's like, let's hang back a bit, because he was very aware, and so was Manchild actually. But Manchild was kind of like, Jackass in fucking Europe, you know, like he didn't care about anything. And so we were following this guy.
There's a newspaper article waiting to happen.
Pretty much. We were following this guy down the back alleys, and sure enough, people were coming out behind us, and we were like, we're fucked, right? And he goes, no, don't worry, fucking. I know these my neighbors, fucking. No problem, fucking. And I'm like,
yeah, even better. Okay, you're making us feel super confident, mate.
But he was true to his word. We ended up at his house, and it was his parents' home. He told us, and he was doing. I don't know if it was allowed or whatever, but it was basically his parents' home.
He's basically doing an Airbnb.
He basically did Airbnb before Airbnb was a thing, and we went up to his the apartment, and I'm telling you now, it was nice. And he says, come, we have coffee, fucking. We have coffee, we have food, fucking. You boys hungry, fucking? And we're like, yeah, because we actually were. He says, come. We talk detail about the hostel, fucking. I tell you everything, fucking. Right? So we go into this place.
You would have been great to have on the show last week.
Oh, I'm telling you now. And we're sitting down, and we sit on these really, like, Persian rugs or something.
Yeah.
And the whole place is decked out. And he's told us the rate. He's told us where we are. And he says, now listen, boys, you don't believe me? I tell you now. I tell you the truth, fucking. You ask the fucking Swiss, because I know, like the fucking Swiss know, that this is the best hostel in all of Plud, fucking. And we're like, I don't know what he means by the Swiss, but we're convinced. But here's the best bit. He says, we did the deal, because it was pretty reasonable, and he was telling the truth. It was very clean, everything you could want. He says, you boys hungry? And we're like, yeah, we are. He goes, I take you to good place, fucking. Follow me. So we walk down this place, and he knows everybody. We go to this bar. He knows everybody. He knows the drunk taxi driver. He knows the chick that works behind the bar, who I think he's given a little bit of love to. He knows everybody.
Special cuddles.
Right? And he says, now listen, boys. I recommend everything in this place, fucking. This is Stenny's place, fucking. Right? And we're like, okay. And he then sits there and he starts combing his hair with a knife. That's why we called him Stenny the knife. Because he's got like a fucking like Swiss knife and he's combing his hair. And he goes, now listen, boys, Stenny have to go out now, fucking. And we're like, where you going? And he go, because he's left, we don't know where we are, by the way. He's dropped us off, not in his car. We've walked there. We could probably have worked it out, but this is before GPS, this is before all that bullshit,
it's
right?
fucking nighttime.
Nighttime, all that shit. And we go, where are you going, Stenny? He goes, Stenny going to a casino to dance the night away, fucking.
That's why he's dressed up the way he is.
Oh, he was dressed up to the hilt and he had the hair slicked back and he's combing his hair with a fucking knife.
I'm going to dance the night away.
And we go, then Manchild goes, oh, are you good with the ladies, Stenny? He goes, Stenny have no problem with ladies. You want to meet ladies, fucking? Tomorrow night I take you out to the casino. We meet plenty of ladies, fucking. Nothing like Prague. And he says the word P. I won't say it. But he says, nothing like Prague. P. Fucking. Right? Right? So it gets even more. And mind you, Pedro and I have picked up on the fact that he keeps saying, no problem, fucking. And we're pissed at ourselves laughing because there were quite a few times that it's very obvious he's taught himself English. Right?
Yeah.
And so he says, now listen, if you boys want to come with Stenny, you come with me, Stenny. We fucking dance another way, fucking. I take you to nightclub, fucking. The girls will love you there. I tell you now, fucking. What the So we go, okay, cool. But here's the best bit. On the way out, we've been charged for like all sorts of shit for the food we ate. The food was great. We had like steak and chips and all that stuff. But they charged us French fry service fee. Steak service
You've
fee.
been done.
Oh, we got fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Because we went after 9 o'clock at night. So because he's in cahoots with all the people there, and obviously what he's got is a little racket.
Yep.
What he's got is I pick people up from the station.
They're fucking fighting.
I'd put them in my hostel, which is my parents' home. Fuck knows where they could have been in a basement, like in a closet, that he's locked them up, right?
Yeah.
I take them to my mate's bar. They get overcharged, and so my mate gets more money and I get a kickback, right? And then we got over that because, like, oh, you got to pay service fee for serving French fries, serving fucking steak, all sorts of bullshit. The best thing was he went to take a piss, and the taxi driver who was off his head came over and goes, you listen to Stanley, good boy. He good boy. And then he goes back to the bar and he's off his head. The whole place was off his head. I was fucked. So then he takes us to this casino, right? And we walked there. It was very close. And he wasn't lying because where his hostel was very, very close. And we go to this casino, and this casino was the weirdest place I've ever been to. He goes, now listen, boys, you want to meet girl? You come with Stenny. Girl like Stenny, I tell you fucking. If you don't believe me, ask the Swiss. Right? I'll get to the Swiss, right? So we go to this casino, and it's a casino come nightclub. But here's the best bit of this nightclub. We go to the night, and you know me, I don't do nightclubs. I never did, even as a young guy.
I just hate the fucking music.
All that shit. And it was all that doof, doof, doof.
Yeah, I fucking hate it.
But I tell you now, the women were hot. And there were no games over there. If they liked you, they'd come up and they'd pinch you on the bum. I'm telling you now. I'll tell you now, I could have been, I was harassed. And in a good way. I didn't mind women coming up and pinching me on the bum. Fuck it, I liked it.
Yeah, bring it on.
Fuck it, good. I want more of it. Fuck it. I'll say it now. Fuck everyone that gets offended. If I offend people at this age of my life, I don't care.
Who gives a fuck?
I don't give a fuck anymore. So anyway, I went there. Here's the best bit of this. This is wild, right? The place was like... It's kind of like that nightclub in Mass Effect 2. It's like... right? And aliens are dancing on dance poles. But then it goes quiet. And we're like, Pedro and I and Manchild are looking at, what the fuck? The next thing you know, this platform which is in the middle of it turns into a strip show.
Unreal.
Right? And the girl does what she's got to do for 10 minutes. She goes back and then the music starts off. Right?
So it's like Duke Nukem.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre.
With the
right?
dancing girls everywhere.
It's bizarre, right? But there's one more bizarre nightclub that I had in Europe, which I will tell a little bit now after this bit. And it's like... And here's the best bit. The music stops next half an hour. Another girl comes out. And everyone's watching her. Goes dead quiet. She does what she's got to do. Then she goes back up behind the curtains and then... Right? This went on and on and on the whole night. I'm like, what the fuck? Right? And so Stanley goes, you boys happy? Let's go. We go home now, fucking. Getting late. Okay. And he's got some girl. He's fucking hooked up. He's unbelievable.
He's done. That's why he wanted to go.
Yeah, he wanted to go home and bang this chick.
Yeah.
But that's not the most bizarre nightclub. The most bizarre nightclub I went to was in Amsterdam.
Oh, well, Amsterdam.
I don't know if I want to say it, but there was a naked Batman.
How could you be a naked Batman?
And a moving, like a rotating thing, like turntable thing, and a girl doing things to the naked Batman. And the best bit was there was a guy that used to be, I wish Pedro was here because he'd remember it even better than me, but there used to be a guy, an announcer, and the music would be like, while you're watching the naked Batman and this naked chick on this turntable thing, the music would be like, it would be like real hardcore house music, like... And then every 10 minutes, there'd be an announcer going, no picture, no photo. Right? And it'd be like, no joke, be like, no picture, no photo. Fuck off. No joking, right? Like, it'd be like,
it's like Rammstein.
No, Rammstein, but like acid music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Germany's got even weirder nightclubs, dude. We went to this weird as fuck. It was called U4. But we kept saying U4, but it was U4. Oh, fuck, it was in a cave. Oh, fuck. Don't start. That's another rant for another day. I'm telling you now, the Germans, it explains everything about them.
Germans.
Mate, I'm telling you now. But this nightclub would be like...
we love
no
Germans.
picture, no photo. Fuck off.
Right? Sure that's not Rammstein?
No, I'm telling you now. Right? But the best bit was, because we were on a Kentucky tour in Amsterdam. Before, when I'm in Prague with Stenny the Knife, I'm backpacking, right?
Yeah.
But the best bit was they had a show and they'd call up people from the tour. And so this other guy whose name was Daniel as well, right? He'd get caught up and the music would be like, looking for Daniel. Looking for Daniel. It was weird. It was weird. But one of the guys on the tour, everyone knew him as Chook. Right? So you hear this, looking for Chook. No picture, no photo. Fuck off. Looking for Chook. Oh, fuck. Weird. So we go to this place in Prague. We've been to the casino. We come back. And Stanley goes, "I do you have good night fucking?" Well, yeah, good night. I see you in the morning fucking. Okay, cool, whatever. He says, "Now listen, you want shower? Shower in there fucking, no problem. You help yourself fucking." Okay, cool. Next thing you know, I'm having a shower, and in walks the Swiss, and I knew who they were.
Yeah, straight away.
2 blokes. And here I am in the nud. Wide open, and the Swiss go, "Hello."
Hello.
Right? I'm standing in a because in Europe, most of the showers are like a bathtub with like a shower head over the bathtub.
That's pretty normal everywhere.
Right? So I'm because Stanley didn't have any curtains or no privacy. I thought I had the bathroom to myself, but I couldn't work out why there was a door leading out of the bathroom. Not in, but out, as well as like 2 doorways. So I'm standing in this bathtub, and these 2 blokes walk in.
Hello.
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 And they're just talking to me, and I'm standing there in the nick, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I can't do a Swiss accent. And I'm like, Australia? Oh. and then they're talking to me, and I'm like,
Guys, can it wait?
"Guys, can this wait?" Like, oh, yeah. And they walk out, I'm like, "Fucking ABBA? This is why I hate ABBA. To this very day, that's the fucking reason." So now I know why. And then I walked out and I said to Pedro, I know what Stenny the knife means when he says, if you don't believe me, ask the Swiss. I just met the Swiss. And he goes, "Really?" I go, "Mate, they're questionable people." And they were standing talking to me in the shower. And he goes, "Yeah, so what's your problem?" I go, "Mate, I was in the shower. I wasn't out of the shower. I was in it." And they were quite happy to talk to me. And they didn't have any problem with it. And they're like, and Pedro's like, "Okay, this is getting fucked up." But Stenny loved going, every night he'd say, you boys want to come casino fucking? And he knew everybody in the town. He'd be like, that was the other thing in Prague. He goes, "You want a good taxi driver fucking? I got the good taxi driver for you fucking." And he'd ring up this bloke, and I'm not joking, this bloke, he had like a Alfa Romeo, right? And he was a rally driver in Prague. Because you know how most of the European streets are cobbled?
Yeah.
It was kind of rainy, like a bit like today, a bit drizzly.
Slippery as fuck.
This guy was going sideways in this car. And he was sitting back, way back, leaning back, the gear stick like this. He was like a fucking rally driver in the middle of Prague, and he was a taxi driver. And we were so impressed. We gave him crazy taxi, 100%, and we gave him this fucking tip because we were so impressed with him. But Stenny the knife knew everybody, everybody, and he goes, "If you don't believe me, you ask the Swiss fucking." That was his whole comeback, because we go, "Yeah, but Stenny, we couldn't find this like museum you told us to go see." "You don't believe Stenny? You go ask the Swiss fucking." But everything was fucking. I'm now spent. That is the rant for this week. But it leads into why, if Stenny was on the podcast last week, and I don't know where Stenny the knife is now, but I'm telling you now, he would have raised $500.
Right about now, he'd be dancing the night away, mate.
He would have raised $500 last week. God bless him.
Which is more than we raised.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a nice segue into.
But one day I will talk about the nightclubs in Germany.
Germany.
Oh, mate. Wow.
Are they efficient?
Yeah, they were. I mean, they everything's amazing. But nothing beats that nightclub in Prague where everything stopped for half an hour and it became a strip show. And then they'd walk off the stage and then it'd be a nightclub again. It was bizarre. Not as bizarre as the naked Batman on the turntable.
Yeah, that's unusual.
But
that's Amsterdam.
But that's a fucked up place.
Yeah,
that's another fucking story. But I won't do it now. I'm spent. The RAM. I've purged that memory.
Purged.
That memory is now purged. But I will show you the pictures one time.
Yeah.
Next time you come over, I'll show you the pictures of Dr. George. I got a very good picture with Dr. George while he's smashing my head with a plate.
Post them on the page.
They're old. I've got them upstairs on my laptop.
Yeah?
Yeah, the one I brought over.
Yeah.
I'll show you the picture of Dr. George walking around and smashing people's heads with plates. No one gave a fuck about work cover back in those days.
No, that's clearly...
Especially in Greece.
In Greece. Yeah, they still don't probably give a
I'll
fuck.
never forget that poor old lady when she saw that flooded hostel. Oh, Oh, Mr. Hot, what have you done?
Down there scrubbing the rug.
Oh, we fucked that. We fucked it. But that wasn't a bad trip there because we met these Scottish dudes and they told us about this beer called Vagina. I'll show you the picture. No joke. There was a beer in Greece and it was called Vagina.
Unreal.
But it was spelt Vergina. And so we couldn't walk around. We couldn't work out why they're walking around licking the cans all the time. Oh, no, they did. These Scottish blokes, they had these cans. I'll show you the pictures upstairs. It's awesome. But there was a beer called Vagina, but it was Vergina. So it mustn't have been pronounced.
It's probably pronounced entirely differently.
Exactly. Like Stenny going fucking thing. It was like, hello. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, Europe. I got plenty of stories, plenty of rams, but that's a modern day ram.
That's a modern
and
ram.
And the reason why I thought of it was because of the F-bomb.
Yep,
And because the Shower King was dropping them big time.
Mm-hmm. Should have had him on the show.
Oh, the Shower King's a beast. He's unbelievable. But I think he's got a bit of a crush from my next door neighbour.
I thought you said you weren't going to say that.
Oh, no. But I just did. But I'm not going to go into it. Topic of the show. We got one.
We actually have one. Fuck me.
I want to talk about a little bit about this week. I was just talking to Jason Relaxation before the podcast kicked off about how Samsung have released the new Galaxy S10. I've got an S8, so I've always been keen on upgrading this year anyway.
Yep.
But I was saying to Jason Relaxation, I really think Apple now 100%
Are in shit.
Are really in shit because I don't know what they can do that can claw back their... well, I don't even know if they had an advantage before this point, but they certainly did at one time.
They did at one time. I think over the last 2 or 3 years they've
But
lost
now
that.
I don't know why anybody would buy an iPhone. I want to know why people would buy an iPhone because...
I think the biggest reason people buy, and the reason, frankly, why I have an iPhone right now, and I mean, this will be the last iPhone that I have, is because it's part of an ecosystem that you are very much bought into. Right, having Macs historically, being a Mac user up until, the last 12 months or so going back to Windows, but it was just easier because everything would plug and play.
I've got a Mac upstairs and I love my MacBook Pro. I think that's a really good...
Well, iMessage is what kept me in the ecosystem.
But here's the thing, a very good friend of ours, friend of the show, Phil, shout out to Phil, he knows who he is, he won't be listening. No one does.
Not even our friends listen.
No, they've given up. This is fucking shit podcast. That's why I want to go home. He was like sort of saying, well, I'm afraid to go away from iTunes because he's a very big, and I really, really want to talk a lot about music on this podcast as well. It will come, but he's a big music collector like I am, and he's got everything on iTunes. And I was telling him...
He's got a big back catalogue.
Yeah,
I've
but
got movies, so I've got the Apple TV.
Yeah.
I've got a huge catalogue.
I don't have that, but I was telling him I've got a lot of music as well. And everything I had was on iTunes, but I told him that don't be afraid to convert everything to a Windows media player format and then upload that to your Android device because it's easy as piss. It's so easy. And once you're free from iTunes and you're not a slave to it anymore, you never want to go back.
Yeah.
Particularly when you've saved all that media on a expansion SD card, which the Samsung phones have.
Yes, which
right?
these fuckers don't.
Right. And this is what I was saying to you in the week when they launched the Samsung phone. They've kept absolutely everything in there that Apple had taken out a couple of years ago. Yep. So I know it might not mean much to you and me, but the fact that it's still got a headphone jack, the big thing for me is the fact that it's got expandable memory, right? So if I buy a phone that comes with 128 gigs, that's great, but I've got like 150 gigs of music, right? Yeah. Minimum. And I'm still one of these people that likes to buy my music and download and actually rip it to a
so you
like
do have the CDs.
Yeah, I have the CDs, right?
Yeah. You're not a Spotify
convert. No. Don't get me wrong. I do the Spotify. That's how I listen to this bullshit and know that it's even worse than it actually was when we recorded it. Like last week's one was absolute fucking terrible. Oh, fuck. That was shit. And I apologise to anyone that listened through that.
I don't think many people would listen for 2 hours.
Oh, it's fucking shit. How long have we been recording this bullshit? I want to wrap it up now. How long have we been doing it?
We are
40 minutes?
Yeah, we're at 50.
All right, let's wrap this up in about 10.
Yeah,
15.
let's go. Let's. Oh.
But my point is that if I want to download my music, which I do, not by Spotify streaming, I can do that on a Samsung device.
Yes.
Right? I know I can do that on iTunes, but Apple give you the same memory options, but it's twice the price.
Yeah.
Even though it's internal. I think 64 gigs, 128.
64 is the base now, 128 and 512.
Well, 64 is not enough for me.
64 is not enough. I've got the 128.
128 is even for me not that much,
Yep.
right? I've actually pushed on my Samsung now, probably about 150 gig,
Fuck.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's with photos. So I think it came with 64 gig internal, and I've got a 256 gig expanded
Yep.
SD card, right? And what I love about it is if I go and upgrade that phone tomorrow or whenever the S10 comes out, I can take that SIM card out, put it in the expanded memory, and I'm off and running, right? With Apple, I can't do that. And I know there's the cloud, but I don't. Fuck the cloud. I told you before, because he says to me, oh, well, have you got your RAM ready? Well, I would if I fucking had access to that fucking cloud thing that you told me to put the bullshit spreadsheet on. I don't know where it's gone. Fuck. Where is it?
You just log back in.
Where? How? Where is it?
It's saved up on a drive up on the internet. You log into your, online Excel spreadsheet, and it's one of the spreadsheets that's saved there. So instead of saving it to your hard drive, it's saved to a hard drive up in somebody else's server.
The cloud.
The cloud.
Well, the only cloud that I know is the one that hangs over my head the whole fucking time. The dark cloud of misery and rejection and defeat and a lifelong full of, I don't know, playing with fire and bullshit. That's the only cloud I know.
Dear.
But the point is, it gives me more options, right? And I know a lot of people are afraid to break away from iTunes. I've met a lot of people that go, well, yeah, I must admit, a classic example, friend of the show, our cousin, he now balks at buying a new iPhone because of the price. And he buys them for fun.
Yep.
I'm telling you now, he does.
Yeah, he just
whenever
gets
he gets bored of like the old one, and then the new one comes out, and he just for fun he puts his money down and buys a new one. But even he's saying, well, I don't want to pay $300-$400 more than a competing Android product. You know what I mean?
What do you get for it, mate? What do you get for it?
I don't know.
Yeah, for me, historically I was not a huge Android UI fan. I didn't like.
But have you seen the new Samsung one? It looks really good.
Yeah, I was getting to that. So now, these fuckers. So Apple haven't done a great deal with iOS. Over the last, I don't know how many years this has been around for, there haven't been a lot of changes that make it a better experience. And it's so cluttered and messy as a user experience.
Isn't there a new one coming out now? A new iOS version?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be dramatically different.
Yeah.
So the way that I use this is using search. So I just drag down or to the left, so I swipe across and I search for the application, because the actual user experience is so complicated, or it's just too much of a clusterfuck to find what I need to find when I need to find it. It's just easier to search. So it's a mess. It's like having folder systems on a phone, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Whereas for me now, there's no real reason, because I'm back on to Windows systems. The iMessage is no longer relevant for me, which was a big thing historically. Now I can use the Samsung or go to Android, and I can do the same functionality on a Windows box with Android that I can with this and a Mac.
And look, I spent a bit of time yesterday listening to what the other nerds were saying on the net, on YouTube and that, about what they've seen as an impression of the new Samsung. But the thing that they say overwhelmingly is, yeah, okay, there are things about the hardware you might not like the punch out. I'm not a big fan of that punch out of the screen. Yeah. But they actually think the interface they've put into it, the actual skin that they've put over the Android, is actually now, some of them are set better than the stock Android version that you get on Google.
Yeah.
That's pretty big call, you know what I mean? So I don't understand. Look, I just bring it up for nerd speak, because we were talking about it up there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we were talking about up there was my disappointment with Facebook, and you were explaining to me about, how Facebook works, and it's not the way I thought it worked.
Yeah, a lot of people, I don't know how true this is.
Because I'll tell you why. I said to Jason Relaxation before we went on air, I'm ready now on podcast on air to delete my Facebook account because I fucking hate it. I don't understand it. It doesn't do anything for me at all. That I get that for some people it is a very useful tool. I really do get that. But for me, it adds nothing to my life. But other than clutter it with bullshit. And the one time I wanted to this is a bit of a rant now, by the way. I'm sorry, but the one time I wanted to use it, I got nothing out of it. It didn't do anything for me, and it didn't do anything for us.
Nope.
Right? So I'm like, okay, I wanted to use it as a bit of a business tool in terms of promoting something, and it fell on deaf ears. And I know a lot of that's to do with the fact that I'm not saying people that are listening to this do this, but I do know a lot of people that do this, where they promote how wonderful their lives are, but in reality, it's bullshit. And so if I put a picture of my cat up there, I'm going to get like 100 likes on it. But if I put up something reasonably serious, I get nobody listening to it or seeing it.
It's
right?
very shallow. It's a very shallow medium.
Yeah, it's bullshit, right? And what I really hate about it is if I do want to go on there as a tool, right? If I do want to stay in because the way it was originally designed, I do agree with people that say to me that they still like to use it because it does allow people to connect with people that they travelled with or people that don't live in the same country as them. It's a very easy, convenient tool for that. But if you're not using it for that, I don't understand why you're using it because every time I get on there...
It's just clutter.
It's all bullshit now. It's all ads.
It's all ads. It's all shallow. It's an echo chamber of bollocks and political fucking... ultra left or ultra right, depending on what your skew is.
It's bullshit.
It's all fake bollocks.
Yep.
It's all memes and people with fucking cat pictures.
Yep.
And I and people that listen who know who I am that are listening to this podcast know that I got rid of my my personal Facebook account. I haven't logged in under my personal account now for quite some time. I left a message there saying I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm done. And really, the only way that we use it is for our fan page.
Yeah. But this is why I raise it now because I'm sorry to get serious and bring things down, but I had a rant to you earlier on about this because I don't understand how social media works. I really don't. I mean, I'm the guy that's subscribing to chicks that jiggle, like the fucking maid lady, and he's telling me about, you should look at your fucking security profile. And I'm like, well, I don't give a shit. She's jiggling, and that's all I need. You know what I mean? I got my hands down my pants,
but inevitably what
jiggling.
that has done has changed the... because the way those systems talk in the back, and really it's a black box. You don't know, nobody knows, except for some select few inside Facebook land and Instagram land, how the algorithms work and calculate stuff. So what you've permanently done now is skew the sorts of data that will be surfaced to you as an end user. So, and you'll find that like in really, really basic terms, the way the algorithm in Facebook would be working is it gets to know who you are. It gets to know the sorts of things that you like, the sorts of messages that you historically have responded to, commented on, in other systems, the things that you've searched historically as well. It puts all of that together and it's going to surface posts by people or adverts that are most likely to get a reaction from you. Yeah, that's how it's worked. So oftentimes people are posting, like we posted that Melanoma March promotion thing.
Yeah.
But for the majority of your friends on Facebook and the majority of my friends on Facebook, they probably never saw that post because it's not the sort of post that historically they would have responded to. So even though you're posting it and you would assume it's just a chronological system where I post...
but isn't that what it used to be?
That's what it used to be.
That's how I still think of it. Like I think of it like when it used to be you post something...
Yep.
And then your friends go, oh, that's his latest post.
Yeah, but that's not how it works anymore. It's not chronological.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And this is my point. Like because I don't understand it. Because I'm of a generation that doesn't need to rely on that bullshit. And I'm still the guy.
That's what a telephone's for.
Yeah, well, okay, I've had these arguments with different people where a very, very classic example, one of our cousins invited me to his brother, obviously our other cousin's Bucks party. I get a random phone call one night. I don't know if I ever told you this. This is fucking cracker. I get a phone call one night and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, we're in the city. We want to know how much longer you're going to be. And I'm like, I'm at home in my pajama jams.
It'll be a fucking really long time.
This is before I found the maid lady. So if I had found the maid lady, I wouldn't have left the house. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, well, we invited you to such and such's Bucks party. And I said, what Bucks party? And he goes, didn't you look at it on Facebook? I go, no, I don't look at Facebook. And because I still believe. And this is my generation, and I'm one of probably even the outliers of that, where I just don't buy into it at all. Where I say, you know what, you want to invite me to something?
Fucking call me.
Do a couple of things. Either fucking call me or send me a text message. I'm happy to get a text message. I'm not that much of a retro dude that won't accept text message.
Text is fine. Yeah.
If you're relying on me to look at shit on Facebook, because even without what you just told me with the way the algorithm works, I can't be bothered getting on Facebook because when I look at it, two things strike me. Firstly, everybody's going, oh, look how wonderful my life is. Oh, that's great because my life ain't so great. So I immediately get depressed. Right? And then number two, it's all full of ads.
It's full of ads. It's full of, there's three different things. There's ads. You've got people bullshitting about how fucking perfect their little world is. Or it's three, people bitching about how fucked up the whole wide world is.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
So, and for me, it got to the point where I'm like, this is actually really depressing.
Yeah.
I don't have the mental... I've got too many other things going on in my world that I don't need to be looking at this stuff. I have to get rid of it. And you look at how many hours a day you spend looking at that shit, and you go, you know what? There are more important things on my plate right now that I want to focus on. Let's get rid of it.
But now they're saying to piggyback off that, I was watching a podcast and they were saying that now they're identifying all these different forms of depression in younger people where they get
social media has a massive
created new forms of anxiety, new forms of depression that these psychologists and all these other people, behavioral experts, are now saying, well, we didn't even know this shit existed 10 years ago. But now these younger people, they live off this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they live off it, you know?
And I don't think it's a single root cause, but I think it's a contributor.
Well, if you're down and out,
or
you've just had a knockback. Look, I could rant and rave about how I feel. Things are really going off the rails with a lot of things. Like, I'll do it, right? Your kids, I've said I'm concerned about how they're being raised, not necessarily by their parents, but in general, with the school system and all the other stuff where everybody's a winner.
Yep.
Right?
That's definitely not in this house.
No, they're fucking all... No, not in this house. And not around their grandfather.
Mate, this is a house of hard knocks.
But what I'm saying is not... A lot of kids are going through life thinking that they're... Just by participating, they're a winner. And I'm telling you now...
You go to the real world,
it doesn't work like that. Like, if you rock up to your job and you expect a scratch and sniff sticker or a gold star, your boss is going to tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm telling you now, right? Or you're going to get made redundant from a job. Or you didn't get the promotion that you wanted.
Suck it up.
Or your boyfriend left you. Or your girlfriend left you. Or you got diagnosed with some bullshit disease. Or some... There's a whole bunch of stuff, right? And I'd be amazed if anybody goes through a normal lifespan where they don't come across some bullshit, right? And what worries me, we were raised in a different era, and I'm not saying we are the standard or the norm, but I do think there were more of us where you were raised on get ready for some disappointment, folks. That's how we were raised.
You were
right?
raised more resiliently than they are now.
You certainly didn't get a gold star for participating at school. You didn't. I'm telling you now, you didn't, right? And so I don't know what's right and wrong, but what I'm saying is that I think some people, not everybody, some people are more susceptible to seeing people on Facebook and going, oh, she's the prom queen and I didn't make the cheerleading squad and now I'm ugly and I want to,
That's before the bullying and everything else that goes along with it.
We never had that bullshit.
Yeah, we never had it. You can't switch it off. I've
got a RAM and I've got some cracking stories about bullying at school. And I can tell you now, and I will tell these stories at another time, but I used to go home and say, Dad, this guy said this about me, and Dad would go, well, just stand up for yourself.
Yeah, Dad just said, go punch him in the fucking face.
You know what that involved? Yeah. I fucking clocked this kid one day. I'm telling you now.
No, that can be the next episode. Nice segue.
Absolutely. I fucking clocked this kid at school, right?
We used to have fights all the time.
And now it'd be, oh, no, that's violent and that's the wrong thing. And I don't know what's wrong and right, but what I'm saying is that I think some people, not everybody, when they look at a post on Facebook, they go, "Oh, that really upsets me because my life didn't go to that way." You know what I mean? And the old saying, comparing yourself with the Joneses. Remember that old saying, like you had to keep up with the Joneses.
Which in our family's hilarious.
Well, it's hilarious because there are a few of those fuckers, and you could never keep up with them.
You can't keep up with the Joneses in our family.
Shout out to them, but
yeah, I love him dearly.
It all started with the Amiga 500.
Mate, I'm the poor cousin.
Yeah, that's right. Well, fucking, you're rich compared to me. Look at me. I'm doing this bullshit podcast. That's the only fucking little joy I have in this miserable life. And you want to talk about the cloud? I told you what the cloud is. It's that fucking thing hanging over my head. That's the cloud.
Fair call.
Right? So the point is that I don't know what the answer is, but what I'm saying is I haven't used Facebook for a very long time, and when I did what I did, and I put it on there, and like I said, I didn't do anything. All I did was put on a post, and I said to you, why didn't it get any traction? Why didn't it work?
Literally nobody gave a fuck.
Pretty much, and again, I'm used to being rejected, so I didn't give a fuck. And look, I didn't, and I'm not saying no one supported us because that's not true.
That's not
true. Everybody did that I expected would do something, and I didn't expect everybody to support us anyway. But what I'm saying is, I could put a picture of a cat, and I'd get 1 million likes on it. I put something serious on there, right? And it's not even about what I'd put on there, and I get no fucking likes, or I get 1 or 2, right? And I'm like looking at that, going, Why is there
a discrepancy?
But what does that say about society? And what does it? And is Facebook making us more vain? I don't know. I really don't. You know, I don't know if it's creating. I definitely do believe that when I was watching this other podcast and they were talking about,
I think it's creating a society of instant gratification where you now expect to be able to get whatever you want as quickly as you want it. Going back to your story of I'm a recent graduate from university, I expect to be earning $100K a year and a promotion
that was
within the first 6
happening.
months. And the fact that you're seeing all of your friends and everyone else being so successful and it's happening so quickly, and you're getting that instant gratification when you see that, your expectations in life want to be the same, right? And I think that has played a big part in the way that the younger generations approach their life.
I don't know what the answer is, man. I don't know what the answer is. I do think in our day, in the schoolyard, I really believe, like we can make stories about it now and it's funny, but I do think that was probably too far the other way, right? And I think my personal humblest of opinions, in the schoolyard now it's gone the other way too much as well. There needs to be a better balance. And I do think that sometimes the old saying tough love is not a bad thing.
No, I agree.
But now tough love is like a dirty word. You know what I mean?
That's it. I know. I think there needs to be more of it. And it's one thing I love about my family is we've got that Chinese influence where it's a whole bunch of fucking tough love.
Oh, what your problem? See, that'd be racist now,
but fucking our family, that,
I don't give a fuck.
People that know us know that that's not, right? And that's another thing. People that get offended so easily.
I could tell you this story, and I wanted to make it a ram, but I could tell you a story back in 1980 that would horrify 90% of people today. But I can tell you the fucking story.
Tell the story and we'll finish up and we'll move on to the next thing.
Okay, here's a little mini ram. 1981, actually. Because, no.
The year I was born?
Yeah, 1981. First class. Because in 1980, most of 1980, I was at a different school. But 1981, I went to the new school where the new house is.
Where the bonkers were. And the
bonkers and the cannonball.
I listened to that the other day and I still laughed the same.
The fucking cannonball. That was 1984. I've got another story about that teacher too. Where's that spreadsheet?
Oh, I don't know.
We better
find it.
While I'm on a roll, because I can't remember past fucking 5 minutes. But mate, put it.
You got a pen and paper there, you dumb fuck.
Well, mark it down, because you're the cloud king. I don't know what the fuck all this bullshit is. But 1981, right? This is not the full bullying story, but I can remember rocking up, and Mum used to make us salami and cheese sandwiches.
Yep. And I feel really like a prosciutto. Yeah,
and I rocked up, and what you used to do in the playground, the kids would always check what the other kid had for lunch, right? Yeah. And if you're really, really doing well, Mum would give you $2 or $3 or whatever it is
go get yourself
to go get what was a chicken salad sandwich or something at the canteen, right? Again, it was the 80s. No one gave a fuck about nutrition. No one gave a fuck.
Yeah, all food poisoning.
No one gave a fuck about any of it.
Campylobacter.
No one gave a fuck. Especially about asbestos.
Asbestos.
That's another story. But I remember sitting next to this kid, and he was like my... Because you know how you make best friends straight away, and then that best friend, you make other friends?
Shout out, Foz.
Yeah, well, there's a story that Mum told me about him the other day, because relating to this, you know when you used to say, oh, what do you got for lunch? And the kid would go, oh, Vegemite sandwiches. Well, then I'd say, and the kid would go, what have you got? And I go, oh, I got salami and cheese. And then, do you know what they'd say? They go, oh, you're a wog.
Yeah, oh yeah, you and I cop the wog thing all the time.
You're a fucking wog, right? And what's your last? Oh, you're a wog.
Yeah, we used to cop it all the time.
And you know what? I didn't really know what that meant, to be honest with you. And I remember going to, this is a fucking true story, folks. This was the 80s.
We used to cop
and this
it
is
all
why
the
I
time.
can't imagine what it's like in the schoolyard now and why I get a bit annoyed and frustrated, because I used to go to the teacher, not just one teacher, at least 3 teachers, because I used to get upset by that. And you know what the teachers would say to me? First I'd say, oh, he called me a wog. Well, not just him, heaps of it. And the girls were the worst. The girls would go, oh, you're a wog, right? Because if you wanted to make a girlfriend, they go, oh, no, I'm not with a wog. I'm being serious.
Mate, I know. I experienced it.
There was a little chick that I liked, right, in the first class. I can't remember her name. It wasn't fucking Sophie. That bitch dumped me in 1984. But this is I can't say that fucking no. I don't give a shit. I'm on a roll now. And what happened was, I'd say, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend? And they'd go, no, you're a wog. And guess what? I'm fucking 44. And they say that as well. But now they say other things. Like you got a small one or something. Fuck, I don't give a shit. Anyway... I'd go to the teachers, this is no bullshit, and I'd say to them, hey, listen, he just called me a wog, or they called me a wog, because it wasn't just one kid, there was a group of them. You know what the teachers would say? Oh, don't worry about it. That's no bullshit.
Yeah,
and it wasn't just one teacher. And mind you, we didn't go to a great school either.
No, we
right?
didn't go to a great school.
But universally, they would go, oh, no, don't worry about it. And even when I went, and even if Jockstrap found out about it, because I'll tell you, when Jockstrap was on playground duty, nobody did nothing, right? And especially after the cannonball incident, but this is before the cannonball. But when because Jockstrap used to wear these boots. I don't know what, he used to wear like a R.M. Williams or something.
Yeah.
And they were always shiny, but we always...
Do you know what it's for? It's for that, like, remember that Simpsons episode, the booting, where they'd boot Bart Simpson up the arse?
Mate, well, that's what the kids used to say in the playground. They used to go, well, Jockstrap's walking the playground.
He's going to boot you up the arse.
Yeah, and everyone used to think the reason why his shoes were so shiny was because he wiped the blood off from the arse when he used to kick it so much. I'm telling you now, Jockstrap was a mean motherfucker. He was a scary dude. I'm telling you. And he'd walk around and everyone would stop, right? And there was one time I actually went up to Jockstrap and I said, oh, these kids are cool. Actually, he heard it. He heard the kids calling me a wog, right? And I'm telling you that there was no wogs at our school at that time. There wasn't.
There was a couple.
There was a couple, but fucking hardly any, man. I'm telling you now. And so I remember going up to him, or he heard it. I think he might have heard it. And he goes, what's going on, you know? And the kids would do a scramble. And I think I cried maybe once or twice, you know? And he goes, what's wrong? He'd say, why are you crying? I go, oh, because they called me a wog. And you know what he fucking said? Don't worry about it. Toughen up. It'll make you a man. I fucking tell you now, 1981, Jockstrap, who was the principal of this school, told me to toughen up. Now, can you imagine what would happen today if that happened?
Oh yeah, mate.
Can you imagine that?
It'll be front page news of the local
Can you
newspaper.
imagine that? He didn't give a fuck. I'm telling you now. Because later on he was chasing cannonballs in the playground, right? But I'm telling you, he didn't give a fuck. Yeah. Right? And that was how it was. And so you go home, right, and Mum would know something was wrong because she could always work it out. Sometimes you get into a fight and your shirt would be ripped. You got into more fights than I ever did.
I had quite a few.
Yeah. But the thing was, she'd work out that you're upset. You go, oh, no, I don't want to go to school today. And Dad would go, why not? And you go, oh, because they teased me or something.
Yeah, go punch me.
But I'll tell you now, very rarely did I ever get teased. I got teased more in later life, mainly by the women, but I don't give a fuck, right? And so, who's having the last laugh now, baby? Me, with my Mega Millions and my podcast and my fucking podcast T-shirt. You see the podcast T-shirts we got?
It reminds me, I need to order more of those.
Yeah, we should. We should get online with it.
Yeah.
You know, you made it when you got a T-shirt with your own podcast.
That's right,
You
even
made
though
it.
you got to pay for them.
Absolutely, that's going to impress the ladies.
Absolutely.
No,
It's
it's
got
not.
my fucking stupid face on.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not going
It looks like both of us.
No,
really.
it looks like both of us, man.
Yeah.
To be honest, I actually thought it was me, and I thought
Yeah.
you were taking the
It
piss
took me way too long.
because it's got like the goatee thing.
Yeah, it took me way too long to draw that.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty clever. But I like the joystick in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Makes you look like a dickhead.
What's an invert the Y, right?
Yeah,
Well, that's it. It looks like a dickhead.
Yeah, you look
I
like- you look like a dickhead.
I should have put a little knob
Yeah.
on the end of it.
But anyway, you know what? I remember going home and telling mum and dad this.
Yeah.
And dad was dad, right? And he obviously copped. Have you heard some of the stories Dad used to tell?
No, Dad used to.
Oh fuck!
Well, Dad. There's
90
a very good
okay.
reason Dad doesn't like the Catholic
Okay,
Church.
we won't go into it.
Yeah.
But think about it. They came here in 1950.
Fresh off the boat, mate.
52
Yep.
or 50?
Yeah. So you're looking at about
1952.
You're looking at what?
They-
7 years after
He was
the war,
4
right?
years old. They
Yep.
came in 1952.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
He was born just
he
after the
didn't
war.
speak a word of English.
Not a fucking word.
Right? When he went to school.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that he changed his name
Yep. He did.
because he didn't want anyone to know who he was, but you could fucking tell. Look at
Look at him.
the fucking
Did you see that?
hairdo.
Did you see that picture? We've got a picture of them with their tight shorts.
You know,
and
you know what I love about it? He goes, I don't want to be Italian, but he's driving an Alfa Romeo. Are you... Come on, mate.
That's a wog.
Isn't that
car.
beautiful? And before that, I don't want to be a wog. He's driving a Renault.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, mate.
You should be
I tell you,
driving
that
a-
Alfa Romeo was awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was awesome. You should try and
Our
find...
uncle had one too, right?
Yeah, he had an
Did they
Alfa...
have the same car?
No, because he had an Alfa Feta, and Dad had an Alfa Sud.
Mm.
Yeah, he had. Sorry, yeah, the uncle had an Alfetta, and Dad had an Alfa Sud. So Dad had like a hatch.
Could those brothers be any more
Oh,
woggy?
fucking hardcore wogs, mate. Well, one of them still looks like Super Mario today. You know what I mean?
That's why we call Dad Luigi.
He's a Luigi. But you'd go home and tell him, and you know what he'd say? Harden up.
Harden up.
He would say harden up,
Or
right?
why don't you punch him in the head?
Or the other one was, if he's picking on you, you know what you do? Punch him in the head. And of course, Mum would go, oh, you shouldn't.
Frank, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't encourage it. But Dad'd go, no, don't listen to your mother. Listen to what I say.
Punch him in the head.
He'd say, I remember one time, and this leads to a bullying story. And fuck it, I'm going to do it now. Let's do it.
Yeah, do it now.
right?
Yeah, bring it
okay.
on.
So
Yeah.
there was this kid. This is 1985,
Yep.
and this kid had no right to be a bully. But he was a bully. But he had no right to be a bully. You know why he had no
twat.
right? No, you know why he had no right to be a bully? Because he had bright red hair.
I should have.
And if you've got,
Jeez,
if you're a ginger,
you're gonna cop it.
you don't have a right
That's
to do
it.
anything.
Nope.
Right? I've met a few gingers in my time, and I'm telling you now, they don't have a right to pick on anybody. They don't. They're almost collectible, you know that, because they're dying out.
The gingers will at some point die out.
They're
Don't say that to a Scot.
They're collectible. I think they're collectible.
Got to catch them all.
They should be put in a thick case of mylar. Mm-hmm. Like the comic book guy goes, it's protected in a thick case of mylar. They're collectible. You know what? I'll tell you another little story. I shout out to her because she listens to this podcast. She's a very good friend of mine. Shout out to her. I used to work with this one. Lovely lady. She was redhead and she was also left-handed.
Wow, that's a rare one.
That's what I said to her. I go, you're
a keeper.
You know what I said to her? You're so rare. You should be a collectible.
It should be a collectible.
And she goes, what the fuck are you talking about, you nerd? I go, you're a collectible. You don't know about the value of collectibles? If you're on eBay, you'd go for a fortune.
You go for a fortune. Yeah,
A left-handed redhead?
absolutely.
Oh, fuck me dead. Anyway, that's another story. Won't get into it. But I used to say, what do I do with his bully dad? Dad'd go punch him. This kid, he had bright red hair, and it was like, he looked like Danny Partridge from the Partridge Family. Remember that Danny Partridge?
He just needs a punch.
You know how he's got the curly hair?
Yeah.
This guy...
Do you know what he looks like?
What?
Ned Flanders' kid.
Yeah, he did look like that, right? So he's got no place in bullying. But what made him a bully was he was quite bigger than all of us kids. He was sort
So he
of,
thought he was hot shit.
he was kind of developing earlier than all of the other kids, and he was big for his age.
Yeah, he's still a ranger.
Yeah, but he was a ringer, so he had no place in it.
Yep.
No fucking place. Here's the best bit.
Yep.
In 1985, I was in year 5, and leading into 1986, I'd be in year 6. And so what they used to do, they used to vote for
School captains.
School captain.
Yeah.
Now, I'll lead to a ram, not this episode, another episode, which I did put on this fucking cloud spreadsheet.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay? but not this one.
Because you were a prefect, right?
No, save it. That's another ram.
I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Save it.
Yep.
Save it. Don't even say it.
All right.
Because it's a fucking another ram story, and it's a cracking one. But this one, you had to vote for the school captain, and you had to vote for the prefect. But actually, school captain got voted by the teachers, which is total bullshit.
That's
that
bullshit.
happened in fucking high
That's
school
a bit
as
of
well.
favoritism.
Can I
Fucking bullshit there.
Can I fucking tell you something?
Yeah.
You know the school captains in a high school.
I don't remember who they were.
I know who they are.
Hmm.
They don't listen to this podcast. But they weren't fucking worthy of a school captain, I'm telling you now. You know why they weren't worthy of it?
Does it involve a bordello?
No, that was in year 6. That was 1986. This was in 1991, the high school one.
Yeah.
Let's just say there was a bit of...
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Later on, I would meet a person in uni who was only known as Bonga.
Yeah.
That's so.
We did grow up in an area where the world's largest pot farm was ever fed.
Yeah,
well, the country's
I know,
largest
but
pot
I'll
farm.
tell you a story later on, not
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
I'll wait till we get a special guest that wants to talk about music because this guy that I went to uni with, his name was Bonga. And that's all I know. I don't know his real name. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you now, everyone called him Bonga. Even the lecturers called him Bonga.
He wrote on his fucking essays.
I'm telling you now. I'll give you a little snippet, right? One day, we're getting assignments back from uni. It was in a tutorial. Remember how you got lectures?
Lectures
and
and tutorials and
right,
labs.
okay.
Yep.
So we're in the tutes.
Yep.
Right? And the lecturer gets up there and he says, "Who's Paul?" I won't say the last name. Who's that? And he goes, "Oh, that's me." And he goes, "What? Your name's Bonga? Your name's Paul?" The lecturer didn't know this kid's name. Everyone called him Bonga. Even the lecturers called him Bonga. He was the coolest. Everyone loved him. But he was such a fuck up. You couldn't help but love him, right? But he literally would rock up to lectures without shoes, without any. He was. Everyone called him Bonga. Even the lecturers would call him Bonga. So whenever you had to do something, he'd put his hand up, and the lecturers would go, "Yes, Bonga. You got the answer to that?" The lecturers called him Bonga. And when they had to hand out an assignment, they go, "Who's Paul? Who is that?" And he goes, "Oh, that's me," because he was the only Paul in the class. "Oh, that's me." And this lecturer, no bullshit, said, "What? Your name's Paul?" "Yeah." "Oh, okay, Bonga." Everyone called him Bonga. But he lived in a house with these girls who loved him. And I've never seen a bloke not give a fuck about a girl
As much as he did.
as he did.
Yeah.
And they wanted him more.
Yeah.
Right? And he used to cook potatoes by stabbing them
As you do.
and going, "These are all fucked." He used to stab these potatoes as he's cooking them. He goes, because he burnt them. Because he was off his head. He did a cone before he made he did a cone before he go to uni.
So then he got the munchies.
He got the munchies. I'll tell you a little ram about Bonga. One day, he used to say to me, because I got in good with him, right? And because we talk music. This is going to be a big music subject later on, folks. But he says to me, "I'll come over. We'll go to," because they used to have band nights at uni.
Yeah, but back when uni was fun.
Yeah, we used to have band
They
nights.
cut that shit out.
The Hoodoo Gurus played at our uni one
Fuck
time.
me, that's
Mate,
right. Yeah.
it was a big effort because you had a student union, and back then the union actually did something, not like what it does now. We just talk about bullshit.
Yeah, they arranged protests and marches.
Yeah, now back then they used to say, "Pay your union fees,
Yep.
and we'll get bands in." They got the Hoodoo Gurus in one time. They were supported by a band called the Electric Hippies. No bullshit.
Oh, wow, shit.
No bullshit,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, because we were into music, and I was into music big time, and he was into music. We kept swapping music and all this sort of stuff. And I'd go back to his place. Well, one night I go back to his place for a band night because it was like a 50-minute drive from our house. He did a cone, right? And he got the munchies, and he decided to make himself some potato chips.
Because of course you do.
Right? And he's chopping up the potato.
Why would you make your own potato chips?
Because he's off his head. And he starts making these potato chips. He puts them in the saucepan. He goes off and does another hit of the bong.
Yeah, as
right?
you do,
He was a
Bonga.
literal Cypress Hill character.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
hits from the bong. That was fucking Bonga. He did another hit, realised that he was cooking. He'd go back and he found all the potato was all burnt. You know what he did? He got a fucking knife. And I walked in and he's stabbing me. He's like this with he's like, "These are fucked. These are all fucked. Fuck. How are these fucked?" And he's picked up the saucepan and he's thrown the fucking saucepan with the hot oil out the door. So if anyone was walking in from the back of the kitchen, which you could, oh, you fucked. But that's another story. I got plenty of bonger
Interesting
stories.
fact, do you know why you get the munchies when you're high?
Yeah, there's a chemical.
The chemical that's released through the THC.
THC, yeah.
It basically increases the hormone production of ghrelin, which is what makes you hungry.
But THC is also good for epileptics.
Good for epileptics.
That's what they're working on now, the anti-seizure drug.
Yeah.
I spoke to a neurologist about that this week too. That's another
You need
fucking...
to get yourself some.
I met a neurologist. No. He lives in my apartment block.
No shit.
Yeah. So, okay.
What the fuck?
The bloke that looks...
What a difference in occupations people have in your...
Dude. Okay, so in my apartment block, I've got ladies of the night.
Yep.
I've got an anaesthetist.
Yep.
And a neurologist.
Yep.
But here's the classic bit of it all. The neurologist looks like he's homeless, but the lady of the night looks like she's got $1 million.
That's probably true.
Even though I wouldn't give it, she'd have to give me $1 million, and even then I'd think about it.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
The reality is, I guarantee she's earning more than he is.
There's two of them. But there's a neurologist that I spoke to him for hours in the driveway the other day.
You need to bring that guy on.
He's very, very clever. Yeah, but he's...
You'd want to be.
Oh, but he's a classic. He's the laziest fucking... He drives a 20-year-old Corolla that's falling apart.
And he's a neurologist.
You know what I said to him? Because he lives with his anaesthetist. I said to him, have you ever seen Coming to America? And you know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going.
Because I said to him, right, because the anaesthetist was there, I said, have you ever seen it? And he goes, yeah, what are you talking about? I go, mate, you should make that unit an absolute harem, like they did in Coming to America, where they made that apartment, like it's got a jacuzzi in it and all that stuff. And he goes, why? I go, you guys should be fucking swimming in it. You should be swimming in the ladies. You should be drinking vagina beer, but the real vagina, right? And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, mate, you work with nurses all the time. And then he's telling me stories, which I can't repeat here. And he goes, yeah, but it's not as interesting as you think. I go, mate, I think it's very fucking interesting, right? But that's another story. But I said, you guys should be making... So every time I see them in the driveway, I go, how's the harem going? And he's knocked on my door. No bullshit. This is no bullshit. I didn't even tell you this. This is no bullshit. He says, the next time we've got a medical party with doctors and nurses, you're coming.
Awesome.
No bullshit. He says, you can come. I said, yeah, but what, as a patient or as a fucking doctor? He goes, oh, we'll make up that you're an oncologist. I'm not making that up.
Well, you could talk.
Yeah, he says, you know as much about it as anyone. Because I was telling him about all sorts of shit because he knew. Right, he could tell.
Yeah.
And he goes... hey, man. No, he goes, you'll fool the doctors and the nurses. I said, I'm in. He goes, yeah, the next one's in the city. We'll drive you in and we'll drive you home.
Unreal.
And he goes, and it's all women there. It's all women because it's all the whole...
med students, yeah.
They're all med students. And they're all girls. None of them are... There's no blokes. I'm in. I said, I'm fucking in. I'm going to a med party. I'm meant to tell you that.
That's a ram waiting to come.
I'll tell you about the med party if it ever happens as a ram story. But going back to the bullying, this kid, he wanted to... So the school voted for the school captain. So the principal and the teachers voted for the school captain. But this kid wanted to be a prefect. And the way that worked... This is back in 1985 when I was in year 5 and we're going into year 6. And so what happened was this kid wanted to be a prefect, which was a disaster waiting to happen because he used to bully everybody, this kid, right? And so how it would work is we'd go into the library and the kids that wanted to be voted as prefects, they'd turn their back and the kids would put their hand up as to, do you vote for this guy? Do you vote for that guy? And fuck it, I'll say his name because I'm a bully now, fucker. Graham, cockhead, right? That was his name, right? Fuck him.
Graham Cockhead.
Come for me now, motherfucker. I can outrun this motherfucker. I tell you now, he was a fat shit back then too. I'm now the bully. That's the best bit. I now bully people.
I know you do.
I fucking bully everyone.
You bully the strata people.
I bully everybody. I bully the strata manager. She hates me. Got a new one. Can't stand me. Because I told her company's shit.
Yeah, good. They are.
On record for that too. There you go. That went on the internet. They know who they are. right? So this kid wanted to be, his name was Graham, and he wanted to be a prefect because he didn't get into it as a captain because the teachers voted you for captain. And so we all got into the library, and he had to turn his back, and everyone else had to turn their back. And they were a line of kids. I think there was like 5 or 6 prefects, so there's a line of kids. And so I'm making the names up now, but they'd say, who wants to vote for Claire? And people would put their hands up. Who wants to vote for Stacey? People will put their hands up. Who wants to vote for Sophie? I didn't fucking put my hand up for her, bitch. 1984, I don't fucking forget. I got a memory like an elephant.
Unless it was yesterday.
Unless it was yesterday. If it happened yesterday, you'd be off, darling. But you didn't do it yesterday. You did it in 1984, and I don't forget. So what happened was, got to him, this bully, and he really upset a lot of kids, right? Now, I knew this was going down, and so what I did, I fought back fire with fire. I went around to all the kids that he bullied, and I said, listen, when the teacher asked us to vote for this kid, Graham, we're not putting our hand up, fuck him, right? And all the kids went, no, he'll find out and he'll bully us. I go, no, he won't find out, right? This is democracy at work. He'll turn his back and he'll never know. And he won't know that you didn't put your hand up because he won't see it. So fuck him. So we're not going to vote for him. I went around to all the school, right? I got to every kid that he used to bully, right? Including me. He used to bully and terrorise me. And then when it got to his turn, he had his back turned. And then they go, okay, the teachers go, okay, who wants to vote for Graham? No one put their hand up.
Such shit.
Nobody. Even the jocks, the really athletic the footy players, the rugby players.
Yeah.
I even went to them. And they didn't like him either because he wasn't very good at footy. He was fat. He was a fucking redhead.
Yeah.
They can't play. Fuck them. They can't do shit. So the point is, when it got to his turn, I went to everybody. And because I was okay with everybody, I never got bullied or teased. It was the only time I ever got bullied or teased in my life was from that kid, right? I got terrorised by women, but that was my own fault later in life. But this kid, he was a bully, and I went to everyone, even the cool kids, the really cool kids, the nerd kids, the girls. Went to all the girls, and I go up to the girls and go, so when it's time to vote for Graham, don't do it because he teases. And you know what one girl said? Yeah, he teases me because he teased me the other day because he saw that I was getting boobs. And I went, that's it. And once I had her, because she was a bit of a princess and all the other girls flocked to her, that was it. He was fucked. So when his back was turned, no one voted for him, man. You. No one voted for him, dude. No one. And he found out later on. They said, because the teachers went, sorry, Graham, you didn't get any votes. You didn't get any great, any vote. Not that is how you get any votes. But you weren't successful, whatever it was, And he was devastated.
Sucks shit.
But here's the thing. He came on the warpath, this motherfucker, because he smelt blood. I think somebody might have said,
someone snitched.
Retro Dan was going around. So I had a fucking snitch. It's like, I told you, school's like jail, man. It's like the fucking, what's that movie with Tom Hanks?
The Green Mile.
The Green Mile. It's the Green Mile. You do your fucking time and you get out. Well, I'm like Brooks. When you're like Brooks. Yeah. When you're in year 12, you're Brooks. You've done your time and then they let you out into the world and you don't know what to do with your life. So you want to go back to school because you know it's actually pretty good. You become like Brooks, the old bloke. And so it was a Green Mile. And there was a fucking snitch. And someone had said, Retro Dan had said not to vote for you because you're an arsehole, you're a bully. And you're fucking ginger.
Yeah. You added that last bit.
I added that in now, but that actually didn't happen, right? And so he came looking for me, this kid. I've never told this story before. I've never told it, right? But Dad'd be proud if I told him. This kid came, and he was a lot bigger than me. I was a very little kid, And he came up to me, and he says, I heard that you said to the other kids, don't vote for me. And I said, you're right. None of us voted for you. And he goes, why'd you do that? I said, because we don't like you. Now, I would have used better words if I knew I would have said because you're a cockhead, but I didn't know that word back then, and I didn't even know the word fuck. I just said because no one likes you, man. And he goes, I'm going to beat you up, man. I said, you probably will, but you didn't get to be prefect, so sucked in. That was the big, suck eggs was the big 80s word. There are actually a couple of 80s words. Your tops, if you like the girl. Your tops. Your tops, right? That's what I said to this girl who ran the bordello in 1986, but we won't get there today. Or you're a bully, or suck eggs was the big one. Eggs. Suck eggs, right? And so he didn't make it prefect, so I said suck eggs. And he turned around and he says, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Retro Dan, and I'm going to punch you, and I'm going to, something like, 3 o'clock by the cricket shed or some bullshit. I'm going to punch you up and I'm going to fuck your face up or some bullshit, he said, you know. And then when he turned his back, it was a bit of a coward's move. I will admit it.
You sucker punched him?
I fucking decked this prick. I decked him, man. And it got his behind the ear. And he went down, man. And guess what? He started crying, and all the kids went, ah, ha, ha, ha. And I became the bully. I became the bully.
Nothing's ever changed.
And I loved it, man.
The power.
I loved the power. I got seduced by the dark side, and I loved it. Because he used to tease me about, like, Space 1999. He used to tease me about the Atari. He would tease me about Star Wars. Fuck him. You know what? And if he was here now, go fuck yourself, you fucking red-haired ginger. Yeah. I'm on a roll. You fuck off. You know what? And I loved every minute of that. And I don't apologise for the F-bombs. I won't take the F-bombs back. And if you're offended by the F-bombs, don't listen to this bullshit podcast, because I don't fucking listen to it either. But I decked this kid, man. I fucking decked him good. And he went down, he started crying. And I'll tell you what, after that, it was like Jekyll and Hyde, man.
He's the nicest little kid.
To me, he was like he became my best mate. He wanted to be my best mate. But I know.
Fuck yourself, mate. Yeah.
But he went from being the bully to being this real meek and mild kid, and he ended up only hanging out with certain, his own little pocket of kids. He never came and spoke to me ever again. But when he did see me, he didn't acknowledge it. You know what the best thing was? You know what the best fucking thing is? Jockstrap saw me do it.
No, did he? And he's just gone, good on you.
And Jockstrap just fucking walked by, mate. Because Jockstrap he was nobody's fool. Because I'll tell you something about Jockstrap. Not only did he have shiny boots that he used to wipe the blood off from the kids' asses that he used to kick, and not only did he like to give the cane like fucking candy, he gave that cane out so much. And I actually I shit myself. When I saw Jockstrap, I thought I'm getting the cane. And there was no amount of explaining to mum or dad that would get me out of it. But Jockstrap just saw it. You know what he did? And he always wore sunglasses, Jockstrap. That's how cool this motherfucker was. He always wore sunglasses, and he'd walk around the quadrangle with sunglasses. And he saw me do it. I know he saw me do it, and he just let it.
He's probably gone good.
He's no idiot, man. Because he used to get people come up to him going, "Oh, he did this to me, he did that to me," and he'd be like, "Well, I can't prove it," you know, because he wasn't a maniac. He wasn't going to, you know. There was one time though, he went up to him. This is before that. Like me decking him in the voting of the prefect. He went up to him, and he was like the fucking Italian police, the Carabinieri, you know. He stood over him and went, "I know." And I'm pretty certain Jockstrap said some shit that I'm telling you now would not fly. It would not fly in the modern era. You know what I reckon he said to him? "I'm hearing shit. I'm fucking hearing shit." Right?
Put your socks up, you little fuck.
Yeah. Well, you know what his favourite saying was? Because I could never work it out. He used to say, "Straighten up and pull your socks up."
Pull your socks up. Yep.
And one day I did it, and he thought I was being smart. Because my socks used to, and he'd go, "Pull your socks up." And then I think he might have said to me one time, "I hope you're not turning over a bad leaf." And I'm thinking, well, I haven't been out in the playground to pick up leaves, you fuck. What
the fuck you talking about?
I don't know. What
you silly old fuck.
What are you talking about? Jockstrap was I'm telling you now, he was, if there was any trouble, he fixed it. He towed every kid into line. And I'm actually surprised he was a primary school teacher, because he would have been better off in high school. But he would not work today. I'm telling you now. And I know he went to that kid and he went, "I'm hearing shit." And when he went up to Jockstrap, I'm sure he did, Jockstrap would have just gone, "You deserve it, mate.
Suck shit, mate.
Suck shit. Fuck off." Because I think Jockstrap's like, you know what? I'm getting paid good money. I get 13 weeks off a year. I don't give a fuck what you kids turn into. I'm sure of it. I'm sure Jockstrap didn't give a fuck. I'm sure of it. You know what I mean? He did. He looked like he didn't care.
Yeah.
You know?
No, he's probably found a nice little school to look after.
Yep.
He's got a fairly good wicket.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and he used to teach 6th class. And so by the time I got to 6th class in 1986, I prayed that I didn't get Jockstrap. And luckily I didn't. I can't remember the name of the teacher I got, actually, but I didn't get Jockstrap.
I don't remember most.
No.
I remember a couple of the teachers.
Yeah.
I remember one prick in particular.
Well, yeah, but Jockstrap, look, I'm going to be honest. He wasn't a mean person. He was just intimidating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you didn't want to mess with him. But that's kind of good in a way. You know
I think
what
that's
I mean?
the way it should be, mate.
You know, he didn't. But I'm telling you now, if he did what he the things he used to do back then, if he did them now today, I'm telling you now, there'd be parents gunning for his job.
I'm telling you worse than that, mate.
Probably worse. Worse. I'm telling you now, there's stories that I'll tell in another podcast about the bordello, and I'm telling you, he knew about it, and yes, he did fix it, but it would have made fucking front pages, and the school would have been on the news. I'm telling you, it would have been on the news. So that's my bullying story, man.
Yeah, fuck. Well, I reckon that.
Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Let's wrap this bad boy up. Yeah,
that's it. That bad boy's got to be wrapped. You know why it's got to be wrapped? Because I've drunk this coffee.
Mate, I'm busting for a piss.
And I'm busting for a piss. This has been Invert the Wide podcast, episode number 10. Probably the second worst podcast we've ever done, because last week was
fucking shit.
I'm not having that.
Don't if you listen to this one straight away, don't go back.
Don't go backwards. It's fucked.
Although I reckon episodes 7 and 8 were pretty good.
They weren't bad.
Yeah,
but I do like the intro that we had for today's one. That was not bad.
Yeah, not bad. All right,
going down memory lane. But thank you, Jason Relaxation, for being part of this again. And I've been Retro Dan as always. We'll be back next week, as always, with another trip down the retro lane of my ever-decaying mind. Who knows where we'll end up with that bullshit? We could end up anywhere.
We planned.
We had an actual topic of the show, and this wasn't it. We didn't cover it. But you know what? It's our podcast.
Do whatever the fuck we want.
And you can get your own podcast and do what you want.
You can set up your own little fucking bullshit room in your mum's basement.
And you have them. Yeah, it's right. And you can set your own thing in your own mum's basement. And you know what else you can do? You can get your own T-shirts like this. Look at that. That's your T-shirt right there. It'll be on the merch store at some point.
Oh, yeah, we need a merch store.
I've ranted a lot today. My voice is going to be fucked tonight, but I don't care.
That's right.
I'm not going out swooning anybody.
That's right. As long as you can play Halo, you'll be fine.
No, well, I don't know where Pedro is. He's disappeared.
Has he?
Well, he's very quiet.
No.
He hasn't even rung me up going,
that's not true.
That didn't happen. Because normally he goes, first one was... bit like the Gamer Point saga back in 2011, 2012, where you go, you think you're fucking funny, don't you? Well, he did contact me and he goes, you're very funny, aren't you? He says, funny boys. Actually, no, he said, silly boys. Silly boys. Well, you know what? Let me put it down to you. This is the gloves coming off. That's it. I've thrown the gauntlet. You know where you are. You know where you are, Pedro. If you hear this,
the invitation's here. Mate.
Get your ass on the show. Defend yourself. Because I got plenty of skeletons in this closet. If I can just remember them. That's all that I've got to do is just remember them. This is like the little brain that could the Thomas the Tank Engine.
I think I can. I think I can.
The fuck controller. Was eating cake. He thought...
because he's a fat fuck.
He's a fat controller. He thinks he can remember it, but he can't because he thinks he can.
Because he eats too much sugar and he's got the diabetes.
Fuck this podcast. Thanks, man, for letting us use your basement. Thank you for the 2 listeners that have bothered listening to this. We really do love you. I don't mean to be so mean and rude and bullyish, but I can't help it. I love your patronage. Until next time, roll it, my gays!